The courthouse where Oscar Pistorius has just arrived opened at the top of this hour, so indeed we can assume that officials wanted to get right to business as soon as they were able. You note in that video that, from what we can tell, Oscar Pistorius is blocking the window of the police vehicle with some sort of white object. Yesterday, when he was arrested by police, he was wearing a grey hoodie with the hood over his head and hanging his head in shame. Surely this track superstar is going to find it very difficult to face a global media that will not be as warm and complimentary to him as they have been over the past few years. That's certainly something that's on his mind, beyond the fact of how he's going to explain what happened in his home on Valentine's Day. It cannot be understated how massive of a figure Oscar Pistorius is for South Africa and the Paralympic sports. This is a young man who was born with a disability, not having legs below the knees, and by his mid-20s was able to become the first human being to compete in not just the Paralympics, but the Paralympics and the Olympics, which is just a staggering achievement, Rosemary. He's a man who has also overcome incredible personal tragedy, losing his mother at a very young age. All of that combined to make the story of the so-called Blade Runner quite an inspiring one for people around the world. And it's for those reasons that the news of an incident at his home where his girlfriend was killed was met with such shock around the world. And indeed, what we're doing now is starting to reassess, as we gather information, who was the real Oscar Pistorius. There were previous incidents at his home, and a different picture is now starting to emerge, Rosemary.
Yes, this is the problem, isn't it? I mean, we're seeing two pictures of Oscar Pistorius at this point, and we know that across the country, his face is plastered across billboards. Those billboards are being pulled down now at this point. And of course, we're hearing more about this beautiful girlfriend that he had for only a matter of months. And Reeva Steenkamp, tell us more about this young woman, this law graduate and model.
Well, it was almost kind of the cliche power couple that you'd see in many elite circles. He's the sport athlete. She was indeed, yes, a bikini model, a cover model of many men's magazines. She's also a girl who graduated with a law degree here in Cape Town. She was 29 years old and just about to star in a reality program here in South Africa that is set to begin airing Saturday. I'll tell you, Rosemary, what's interesting about the reality program is the show has issued condolences, but they are still, as we understand, continuing with airing the program, they say, because they have financial commitments. So this was a girl he was attached to for only a few months, but whose star was also on the rise. It should also be noted, Rosemary, that this is not the only girl that you'll see in the press attached to Oscar Pistorius over the past few years. He's known as a young man who's quite social. He's seen at the Olympics and many other events with a different kind of model on his arm. So we're starting to see now, there's also a report that the police have released that he was arrested back in 2009 for common assault, although the case was thrown out of court eventually for lack of evidence. Combine that with the fact that police say there have been previous domestic calls to his home, and we're starting now to think that perhaps the superstar we all know isn't the actual real man of Oscar Pistorius.